Let's go back to the before times, a long gone era, way back to the late 80s and early 90s. Due to the success of Muppet Babies, babification is running rampant in the industry.
Let me see you shake them titties, pop that pussy, doodle,
Make everything babies. Babies equals money.
Kids love direct parallels as representation. So who's next? A couple of guys by the names of Robert Taylor and Michael Peraza Jr. came up with an idea. Robert Taylor, having worked on similar projects like the Flintstone Kids, knowing all too well the pitfalls that can come from just aging down your main cast in a desperate attempt to ride the coattails of Muppet Babies, and Michael, having been groomed fresh out of Cal Arts by the Disney Big Nine, yes, that's a real thing, had the understanding of the Disney brand and technical skills that come from studying with the titans of the industry. This Lady and the Tramp duo were the driving force behind Goof Troop, and by extension, Maximilian Goof. It also led to a movie with so much artistic integrity that I want to share some of the coolest shit that I notice about it every time I watch it. So let's make like Willis in the Digimon movie and go back to the beginning. We open on a dream sequence dealing with Max and his desires presented as his muse, Roxanne. Don't feel too bad, Max. I think she was a lot of people's first muse, along with Crystal the Fox and Space Jam era Lola Bunny. You know, the furry boner progenitors. But the real point of this opening sequence is to express Max's real internal struggle, and honestly the real theme of this whole story. It's about accepting that he is more like his dad than he cares to admit. Roxanne really isn't important to the story, despite, on the surface, she is the driving force behind all of Max's choices. That's what makes this movie so fluffing good. The TV series Goof Troop took the core basic idea from a few Goofy shorts that showed him as a dad, and chose to run with that premise, owning Goofy's, well, goofy nature, and making him the ultimate dad. Because let's be honest, Goofy really is the ultimate dad. Enter Maximilian Goof, the forged by a focus group, too cool for school kid we all wanted to be, to act as the perfect foil to Goofy's natural dad energy. The movie then takes this insanely amazing idea and found a way to plus it by aging Max up to a teenager and using what I am calling the Goofy factor as an allegory for not only the general awkwardness of puberty, as showcased by the laugh being treated as a voice crack, but also the Goofy factor representing Max becoming more and more like his father. Both of these universal truths are something every child faces in their life and are not easy subjects to deal with, internalize, or notice. The latter being particularly hard, as many folks don't realize that they are just their father until they're like mid-30s, when they say some dumb shit when they get into an argument with their partner and they're like, oh fuck, I think I'm my dad. It's complicated and a nuanced subject, and to be honest, the fact that this movie chose to tackle this intricate, frankly dark relationship stage that most, if not all, fathers and sons face in their life is some galaxy brain level shit. My goofs. I don't know. After Today is such a good number. It does everything in its power to set up a total red herring. If you think about not knowing that the Goofy movie is actually about one specific road trip with Max and his father, you could easily assume that this movie is going to be about one of those Sandlot Stand By Me summers where Max and PJ get into a weird testosterone-ridden shirtless fight over Roxanne in the woods. This is only furthered by the fact that we get this weird shot parallel with Grease's opening number. Can we play that Grease clip? Ooh, yikes. Wrong clip. Oh man, that didn't age well at all. Anywho, all this is undermined by Max's dialogue being about something completely different. Everyone is singing about the last day of school and how dope it is gonna be to not be in school, whereas Max is singing about impressing a girl and not being his father. But the song is so harmonious, you don't really notice it. It doesn't really stand out. Oh, getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. So Goofy Goof is now working as a not Sears photographer. And this whole setup has some stupid dense characterization and amazing scene work for both Goofy and Pete here. Not only does it showcase how effective Goofy is with kids by getting a smile and a good photo despite the Goofy factor, we get to see both Pete's and Goofy's parenting styles at odds here with this little monster. All while Pete and Goofy are having a conversation, and Pete successfully sows seeds of doubt in Goofy's trust in Max to justify Goofy's leap in logic when the principal calls. It cements Pete as the antagonist, but not as a villain. Pete's role in this film isn't traditional Disney villain fare. He's here to perpetuate Goofy's insecurities and doubts about his relationship with his growing son. Not like give him a flat tire or some shit. Also, it's small, but I really like that we get to meet Roxanne's dad. Like, he's only there for a few quick jokes and it doesn't really matter, but it's a cute reminder that this movie is about kids and their relationships with their fathers. It's like those episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we get to watch Taya duel. It really doesn't matter, but in a world where card games are high stakes, it's fun to be reminded that everyone has a deck. Open Road is another great musical number, and I think a good chance to talk about the musical diegeses of this film. Like, I know of at least 2 canonical diegetic numbers with Stand Out and Eye to Eye. Wait, 3. The Dumb Possum song counts. But the other numbers, I'm not really sure about. And Open Road is definitely the most debatable. Like, it starts out with Goofy using diegetic sounds, but it grows into this crazy full Broadway musical number in moving cars. So there's like, no way, right? But also, there's like cartoon physics in play at all times, so it's just possible that this is something that goes down. The big point I'm getting at is that it's so debatable, and this is a testament to the tone of the movie. It's grounded in enough sense of reality and relatability that we can have this conversation and it feels fair on either side. And I think being able to have that debate is a perfect sign of using animation to its fullest potential. I think the best example of this is this huge number having not only a piano player jamming out on the back of a truck, but also a literal frickin' undead zombie backup dancer, all while Max is once again in his own head singing about his flaws, but Goofy is so blinded by the fear of Max going to prison to see or hear what he has to say. Ugh, seriously, Max, just talk to your dad about what you said. And Goofy, quit being such a dummy. Get out of your own head. You are like a really good dad. Like, just talk to each other, guys. My dad is dead. Seriously, it matters. Regret sucks.
Don't you want to be hanging from a tree?
So dark. Lester's Possum Park is weird and unnerving, and personally the scariest part of this whole movie. Between the gross and dirty gray washed out color palette, the anxiety inducing mise en scène, and the slew of nightmare children, it creates this terrifying place. Also, it's good because this little gremlin here makes Max realize his worst fear, that he is his father. It's really just straight up hell. Slapstick happens and Goofy trusts his son with the map, and it's this big emotional bit, and Max feels like shit because he totally cheated. But they click again because Pete's poison is wearing off, and it's small, but it's worth noting that during the slapstick montage of Goofy struggling to keep up with his teen, Max does show quite a bit of empathy, and as the montage goes on, things are toned down a bit until eventually they're both at a baseball game, the great American common ground. Or so I'm told. I don't know shit about sports, or American tradition, or like healthy father-son relationships. God, this was a busy week for them. They just do a whole lot. Also, it's small, but I appreciate that this movie never establishes a hard timeline for when the concert is. That way, they can take as long as they want on the trip and it doesn't feel weird. Unlike other movies, who decide to throw it out in the third act for the sake of manufactured tension. Our next big step on this trip would be the Atonement with the Father, a staple in the hero's journey, but in this case, quite literal. After meeting back up with Pete, he begins to instigate more distrust with the aforementioned hot tub scene. Goofy finds out that his son has been lying to him and gives him a chance to redeem himself in the most intense moment in the whole film. And I gotta say, it's good that they simplified it to a left or right choice. That way, no matter what level you're viewing this movie on, you can appreciate the stakes. Because the frantic editing, music, and dialogue all swirling together creates this insanely intense moment that I still remember to this day. And once Max makes the selfish choice, you can really understand why Goofy is so hurt. And so slapstick, 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 and the car gets drowned. And here we go. This song, holy Goofy movie, this song is fire. I love it so much. It's good. It's smart. It's the conversation that they've been needing to have this entire time. I want to pay special attention to Goofy's line here, I just want to be a part of it. As teenagers, we begin to form our own connections, bonds, and basically our own lives outside of our parents. And it is all too common in both media and reality that parents will take that moment to shut teenagers down and say things like, "You're not an adult, you don't pay bills, you're still a kid, you're still in my house." And Goofy, even in this heated moment, chooses his words so carefully as to respect his son's budding agency and stating that he just wants to be a part of his son's life as he grows into adulthood. And that, fam, is some really smart writing. Along with the visuals, the gag, and the actual scoring, this song is by far my favorite song in the entire film. And then afterwards, we find out that Max told Goofy everything, and after Max saves Goofy from the inevitable deadly slapstick that they face, on that note, cartoon physics have been in play this entire movie, but at no point does Goofy fall off of anything super high, per se. And it's small, but it does help make this moment feel a little more tense. Not only are the characters actually worried, but the movie has stuck to the rules that it established. That's why we can see Max floating there safely on a parachute of canvas, but we are still worried that Goofy is falling to his death. Also, he winds up saving him with the perfect cast, which is good Chekhov's gun rule, but also he does the perfect cast in the final number, and like, because they're both back to back, it feels a little bit weird, almost like a hat on a hat situation. Both are really great examples of symbolic bonding of what Goofy wanted and what Max feared, that maybe they weren't so different after all. Also, the whole final number is a bit of a hat on a hat because Eye to Eye's lyrics are literally spelling out the theme of the movie, but like, what are you gonna do? It's like a really good number, so I don't care. Also, Goofy finds out that his son horny lies to impress a girl, and his first instinct is to just make it true. That is a really good dad. Like, holy crap. So you told the girl you like that I'm buddies with a Prince allegory, and that we're just gonna crash his nationally televised concert so you can wave hi to her? Yeah, well, all right then, Maxie. I gotta make sure my son gets some of that sweet furry trim. Yup. Okay, to be fair, Goofy does make Max fess up, albeit most of the talk is off screen. We find out that Roxanne was interested in Max the whole time. She likes his goofy laugh. It's not huge, and Roxanne isn't like this big step forward for women characters, but in a world before we were really talking about how grand romantic gestures and underdogs tricking girls into boning them plots might be a little gross and weird, they did enough to help establish that she was also interested in him and like super nervous and awkward and dumb, because that's just what teenagers are. It's not a major focus, but it really changes how the whole story is framed, so that even from the angle of just a love story, it holds up to the idea that the interest wasn't one-sided, and that Roxanne isn't just some horny VN girl that you get to bone after you get enough points. It's good. The Goofy movie is good. Dare I say? Dare. Great. Between the amazing love story, killer music, I didn't even mention all of the amazing edits that are in this film. Awesome slapstick, killer use of color theory, adorable designs, amazing continuity, clean storytelling and smart writing, lovable side characters, memorable dialogue, quotable. About the only thing I don't like about this movie is probably Bigfoot, and that's just because, I don't know, he's just like a little superfluous at this point. The point is, there is something for everyone to enjoy about this movie, and I would rank it probably one of the best Disney films, easily a Disney classic. Better than Little Mermaid, that's for sure. That guy is absolutely dead. Special thanks to all my patrons throughout the entire nation, saving me from starvation with your monetary compensation. If you want to join my congregation, click the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your viewership, it gives me drive. Keeps me fighting and alive. Call me a horse cause I'm hitting my stride. The Little Mermaid was a child bride. That's really messed up, right? Like, there's a lot wrong with that movie, but seriously, she is like 16 years old. What the hell? I'm a joke rabbit with a hip-hop habit. The year's 2020 and you shouldn't say the F word.